Hey everyone, I'm Bill Davenport with Anchored Market Ventures. Today we're going to be talking about how to do farmers markets better, from your setup to your display and just overall presence at a farmers market that's going to make you more successful going forward. If you guys like this video or any of our other tips and tricks or vendor spotlights, we'd love to have you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel to stay connected to farmers market videos, and leave us a comment and your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you guys and see what you guys have to say. One of the first things that we're going to be touching on is your equipment. When it comes to equipment, you guys really want to buy the best that you can afford. The first things you're going to want to purchase is a tent, and you're going to want to stay away from the flimsy, cheap tents that you can get at your local box stores. You're going to want to go with the best quality that you can get. And good overall tent you can get at Sam's Club is the Easy Up Commercial. It's around 200 bucks. It is a great tent that's going to take a lot of abuse and stay working for you for a long time. As long as you do a little bit of preventative maintenance on it, make sure the screws and the bolts are tightened up, it's going to be a really good tent. Now, there are a lot of other good commercial quality tents, but we highly recommend that you go after a commercial quality instead of the cheap flimsy ones that you're going to find at some of your local box stores. Now, when you purchase that tent, you're going to want to get tent weights. Tent weights are an absolute must at a farmer's market. We recommend a minimum of 20 pounds per weight. You're going to want to put a weight on each corner of your tent to help weight it down. We make our own weights out of PVC tubing with ready mix quickcrete and an eye bolt. You can use anything from a 25 pound dumbbell on each corner. There's a lot of options. You can buy designated weights for your tents, but you want to get some weights. Staking is sometimes an option with your tents, but depending on where your market is, you may not be able to stake into the ground due to concrete, asphalt, or the ground that you're wanting to stake into may have an irrigation system, and the rules of that market may not allow you to stake. So weights are probably your best option. One of the next things that you're going to want to get is a table, or 2 or 3. Tables come in a couple different variations. You can get a folding table, or you can get a solid table that's all you got to do is fold the legs. They compact down a little bit. You can get more tables in, especially if you have a smaller size vehicle that you're going to the markets with. Tables come in 6 foot, 8 foot. They come up to 10 foot too. Most of your spots are 10 by 10. Stick with the 6 foot and the 8 foot tables. If you're new to farmers markets, eventually you'll find out what's best for your display. When you get your tables, you're going to want to get some tablecloths. Those tablecloths can be a good looking sheet that goes on top, dedicated table skirts that go on the table. It helps keep your display looking clean, gives it a little tidier look. If you have coolers or boxes and stuff that you have your product and you put it up on the table, having that tablecloth or a table skirt helps hide it, and it just gives it a streamlined and cleaner look at the market. Once you get rolling in the farmers markets, and there are options to get your logo and some writing done on the table skirts, then it's another way that you can advertise and bring a little bit eye appeal to your booth. Another thing that you're going to want to look at for your booth are display boxes or display racks. It's going to allow you to add a little bit of depth, a little bit of texture. It's going to help elevate your products in your booth. You want to avoid laying everything flat on a table. Getting wooden crate boxes, cardboard boxes that look nice, getting some metal racks. There's a lot of different options that you can mess around with to get your display elevated and spread out to give a little bit of texture, depth, and height to your display. But coolers are something that you may want to look at when you're at a farmer's market. If you're a produce vendor, if you're a beef vendor, pork, chicken, or even a honey vendor, having a cooler with some ice blankets in there or some ice packs to help keep things cool is really something you want to look in. During the summers at a lot of farmers markets, it can get really hot. And one of the things we're constantly fighting at a farmer's market is produce looking fresh throughout the market. Your excess produce you can keep in the coolers, your meat, keep it nice and cool, and then you can bring it out either when you're setting the produce back up on your table, or when you sell your meat, you can pull it out of the cooler and give it to the customers. But coolers are definitely something that you're going to want to look into and see if that's a part of your farmer's market kit, something that you're going to need for the farmer's market. Chairs. A lot of folks bring chairs to the market. I'll tell you personally, I don't recommend chairs at a market. They're normally 4, maybe 5 hours long. You are gonna wanna be on your feet and engaging customers. Everybody that walks by your booth, you are gonna wanna greet. You're gonna wanna say hello. Try to engage in conversation with them. You don't have to engage in conversation with everybody, but what you do wanna do is at least acknowledge them. Hey, how you doing? Hello, welcome to the market. Something along that line. That's gonna kind of break the ice. A lot of folks will just keep on walking, but by being active in your booth and being present and engaging the customer base, that's going to help draw people into your booth. You're not going to be able to do that if you're sitting down. If you look bored, if you look like you're not into selling at the market, a lot of people won't even give you the time of day to come in and see what you have. Try your best to avoid sitting in a chair unless you absolutely have to. You just can't stand on your feet anymore. And if you do have to sit in a chair, bring your chair up into your booth so that you're able to engage customers as they walk by your booth at the market. You want to bring some food, some drinks, snacks to the market. That 4 or 5 hours, you're going to be busy. So if you have a little bit of downtime where there's not customers walking by, grab you a quick bite out of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a little Gatorade, water, whatever you bring. But you definitely want to bring a little bit of food to snack on, some drinks to drink and keep hydrated. It's really important during the summer when it's hot, when it's humid. That heat exhaustion and heat stroke will sneak up on you really quick when you're least expecting it. And a good way to combat that is to have food, water, snacks. You're going to want to have a wagon or a dolly. Not every market can you pull right up to where you're going to be offloading equipment and where you're going to be setting up your booth. For a lot of markets, that's kind of a luxury. So you want to have a wagon. There's a lot of fold down and collapsible wagons that you can purchase if you have a truck or a trailer or something a little bit bigger. You can get a dolly. There's a lot of 4-in-1 dollies that you can use as a dolly, as a wagon, as a lean-to. But you definitely want to look at getting a wagon or a dolly because a lot of that will help ease your struggle out of market. Another thing that you're going to want to look at that's going to help elevate your sales and really help elevate your booth is signage. Signage can be anything from a sandwich board right outside your booth to your banner to a combination of those. And even where we were talking about tablecloths, if you have a table skirt, you can put some signage on that. Signage helps let people know what you make, whether you're selling produce, you're selling meat, honey, if you're making handmade jewelry, arts and crafts. It gives people when they're coming up to your booth an idea of who you are or what you sell. Now, there's some other things that you can put on that signage. If you grow produce, you can put if you're certified organic, you can put if you're certified naturally grown, you can put no till, beyond organic, no spray, no chemicals. You can put that stuff on your sign and it really helps folks not guess about your farming practices. It's right there for them to read. But the other side of that coin is do not mislead people with your signage. If you make handmade jewelry, but you resell jewelry, don't advertise like you're only handmade jewelry. If you spray chemicals, you definitely don't want to put no spray or no chemicals on there. If somebody finds out you're putting something on your signage or you're putting out a practice and you do it, but you're saying you don't, once that bridge is burned, you are not going to get that customer back. And it's the old adage of 10. One will tell 10, 10 will tell 20. It's hard to regain the customer's trust once they find out that you have fibbed on your signage or what you're saying for your practices. So don't do that. Another thing for your signage is you want to have your contact info on there, whether your name and a phone number, your name and email, your name and a website, some way that a customer reach out to you and maybe purchase away from the market from you, which turns into more market purchases. Have a way for folks to be able to reach out to you. Now we're going to talk about market insurance. Some markets don't require insurance, some markets require some certain types of vendors to have insurance and others not. We highly encourage everyone to have market insurance. If you're going to be doing this on any type of regular basis, market insurance can be the difference between devastation or being able to survive an accident and moving on and still doing business and being profitable. Market insurance is very inexpensive. If you're not doing anything out of the ordinary, you can get yearly market insurance for as little as around $400, depending on what you need for it, and then it can go on up from there. But you don't want to be the person at the market that doesn't have insurance and an accident happens, and now not only are you fighting to save your business, but you're fighting your personal assets too because you don't have insurance. Insurance is important. We highly recommend everybody having it. You don't know when that day is going to be. You're going to get a really strong gust of wind, your tent flies off, hits somebody, and it's just a bad day that could have been avoided with insurance. Now we're going to talk about booth display. You want to set up your booth in a way that is inviting. You want to invite customers to stop. You can set your booth up in a way that discourages people from coming into your booth. You may not get it right your first 1, 2, 3 times at the market. It's something you definitely want to try out things. Make your booth inviting. Normally, the closer you can get your stuff up to the front of your tent, the better. Sometimes a U display inside where you set up your tables as a U is advantageous. Sometimes having everything on the back. You really got to find out what works best for your products. You're going to want to elevate, give depth, give texture. There's that adage in retail, if it's high, it flies, which means if you get stuff up, customers are going to be more willing to really look at it. It makes it easier for them to look at, which also makes it easier for them to purchase. So get away from just laying everything level on a table. Sidewalls, don't use those unless you absolutely have to. Only time we recommend using those is when it's raining. Customers can't see through the tent. Your products coming from a booth or two away makes your booth look closed down. It doesn't make it inviting. Detracts from customers coming in and shopping at your booth. So if you're worried about the sun, use your display inside your tent. How you keep stuff out of the sun. Raise stuff up closer to the canopy, into the customer zone, and out of the sun. There's options to getting your stuff out of the sun. If you're a produce vendor, pile your veggies up. If you have a lot of veggies and you don't necessarily have a cooler to keep them in, pile helps keep your vegetables cool. Rotate that pile throughout the market, keep them looking fresh longer at the markets. If you sell lettuce or stuff like that where it's got to be bagged up, condensation is something you have to be worried about. You can keep them in a cooler, keep them out of the sun. Sun will definitely make your bags condensate. It'll start wilting. You can put them in a bag, keep the bag open, rotate the bags around, turn the bag so that the condensation doesn't get on the bag, and seal it up as soon as you make the sale to the customers. You definitely want to be staying on top of the condensation. You can also look at clamshells. Clamshells are another option. Selling produce, water misters. Mist your stuff. It helps keep it fresh, looking good throughout the market in the morning as it does in the afternoon, especially during those hot summer days. If you have color stuff, red sells. Red and green combinations are great. If you put tomatoes next to cucumbers, next to peppers, that delineation of different colors really helps catch the eye, helps them purchase. There's a lot of studies done that those color combinations help sales. If you're selling something other than produce, don't set all the colors by themselves. Break them up with other colors. Increase your sales. Along with greeting everybody that comes by your tent, work on building those relationships with customers at the market. A lot of those customers are going to turn into repeat customers, tell their friends, they're going to tell their family, turn into more sales. But a lot of that can't happen unless you're willing to make that relationship work with the customers. So really engage with them, be active, be present in your booth. Take markets very seriously. You work hard all through the week, building your products, growing your products, butchering your products. When you come to the market, that's game time. That's where you make your money. That's where you sell. Take it seriously when you're at the market. Be on time. Set up where you're supposed to be. Have a clean presentation. Creates a better experience at the market. Don't try to undercut pricing of your neighbor vendors. Sometimes folks look at other vendors that sell similar to them as competition. Everybody's family. Everybody thrives. It's that adage, a rising tide raises all ships. Don't be that person that comes in grumpy, not liking that another vendor is there. Hey, they're selling eggs for $6. I'm going to sell mine for $3 just to show them, or none of that nonsense. You don't want to do that at a market. But he's selling at $6, sell at $6. They're going to sell. People want to come to the market to buy those those farm fresh eggs. You know, if you're selling honey and everybody's selling 12 ounces for $8, don't come in and sell your 8 ounces for $5. You're not doing the market any justice. You're not doing yourself any justice. And at the end of the day, you're hurting everybody overall. Whatever the price is, don't go in there looking to undercut them. We're a team, we're a family. As the market day goes on and you're selling down and you started with 3 tables and now you got enough for one, move everything onto one table and break the other 2 tables down. It's going to concentrate people to what you have. It's not going to keep stuff spread out. Help sell the last of the stuff on those last hours of the market. If you have questions about the market, go talk to a farmer's market manager that's been doing it for a while, that's seasoned. I promise you they've seen a lot of stuff. They've talked to a lot of vendors. If you have a question, a concern, go ask them. I promise you they are more than willing to help you, to talk to you, to maybe give you a little guidance, a little advice, but don't be afraid. That's what the market managers are there for. But definitely don't be afraid to ask the questions. Come talk to a seasoned market manager. We'd be more than happy to help you and give you a little guidance, a little help, whatever you need, we're there for you. And then at the market, the biggest thing is have fun and don't be afraid to make changes. If you see something not selling well during the market, maybe move it to another location inside your booth. That display area that you have it in just might not be the prime spot for that particular item. So move it over on another section of your display. Don't be afraid to change how you lay your booth out. It's an ever-going process. You're going to change in a 6-month period a bunch of times trying to get that right setup. Remember, what is a really good setup at one market necessarily isn't a great setup at another market. You may have 2 or 3 different setups depending on where you're at. Do not be afraid to change. Have fun, be successful, and we can't wait to see you at your next market.